Hey guys, Barrett here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about three major tips for a better third shot drop. I'm really excited for this video. It's really going to change the way you think about the third shot. Keep in mind that my subscription service, PK Academy, releases in about a week. If you love these videos, you are going to love that. I'll let you know when it's released though. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to talk about here is actually the arc of the third. So traditionally, a lot of third shots were these sort of high balls that would kind of float over the net and they would bounce softly into the kitchen. And that's good, that's great and all, but these days, people are getting really good at either driving those shots over with a brush up shot or dinking it cross court and making it really hard for you to get. So what happens these days is that people will instead do a brush up third that has a lot of topspin over it, and it'll curve over the net, and it can be absolutely brutal for people to get. So let's start with that. So what we're going to focus on is trying to get more topspin on our shot. So instead of coming up underneath it like this, we're instead going to try to brush up on the ball instead, okay? And that's going to create the topspin, which will curve the ball over the net, okay? So watch my stroke here. See that stroke? And that kind of motion is what gives the ball topspin. And that topspin will curve over the net and it'll land near their feet, and that puts an enormous amount of pressure on your opponent. Like that. All these shots are just barely creeping over the net, but they've got a little bit of pace on it and a ton of topspin. And that pace combined with the topspin means that your opponent is more likely to pop up the ball, which either will allow you to the net or allow you to finish it for the win. Now, speaking of coming to the net, what I see a lot in like the 3-0 and 3-5 area when it comes to the third shot drop is that people don't convert it fully. So a fully converted third shot is where you make the third, but then you at least make some kind of progress towards the net. The big problem that a lot of people run into is that they'll make a third shot and then they'll just stand there. And the third could have been perfectly good. And so what happens is the person doing the fourth shot at the net will just lob the ball back to you, and then you're in the same position that you were in previously. If you make a good third, you have to progress your way to the net, especially long-term over the course of a match. Let's say you're playing 3 games in a tournament. You have to continually do that because you have to let your opponent know that you're not going to give up ground here. So let me just kind of show you what this looks like here. So if I just sit here and hit third shots over, even though they're good shots, my opponent can very easily hit the ball back towards me. However, if I were to scoot up a little bit, that puts a lot more pressure on her to make the right shot. If you close the gap, you're also closing down the angles that she has. The closer you are to the line here, the better angles that you have going over. And so the last thing they want to do is hit the same kind of lobby shots, right? Because they're going to be high enough for you to attack over. So as you progress in pickleball and as you do more thirds, make sure that your journey to the line is a part of that process. A full third shot is one where you hit the ball over the net on a third shot, but also get to the net at the same time. Okay, third tip here, and sort of a tactics thing, kind of a strategy thing here, is I want you to start thinking about aiming your thirds either to a weak spot, so either maybe a weak forehand or a weak backhand, which is more likely, weak backhand, or to aim them cross court in the corners of the kitchens. This is brutal when you do this the right way, because since you're hitting it towards the corners of the kitchen here, the ball is behind the highest part of the net, and it makes it unlikely that the ball can go straight down the line. Okay, let me show you. So I'm going to do here, as the person doing the thirds, I'm going to aim for that corner over there, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so you see how that works, right? It makes it so unlikely that they can do something with that ball. They have to hit it up higher on this side because the net is higher, and they know that, and that can create an opportunity on your side. This is another really brutal one that you can do from this angle, is to aim for that corner kitchen over there, like that. huge if you can get that right. Hitting to the corners of the kitchen is so effective because it reduces the amount of stuff that your opponent can do, and that makes them more predictable for you, but also it puts more pressure on them. But here's the thing, guys, is that when you begin to combine these 3 tips, try to get more topspin on your thirds, try to get them to dive over the net, okay? Be more aggressive in coming up to the net, right? While also watching the ball, obviously, you know, and also hitting to the cross-court positions in the kitchen. When you combine those 3 things together, it will revolutionize your thirds, and it will completely change the way that you think about your third and about the sport in general. So definitely try those things out. Let me know how it works for you. Keep in mind that the topspin stuff is difficult to do. It's going to take some practice, but I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that was helpful. I've got tons of stuff on my website, pickleballkitchen.com. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.